Here we go again. I'm back on that quiet block. There's too many other vehicles on the main road on my block. Can't hardly hear anything. Look at those clouds over there in the background. That's some photography shit there. That's some photographic shit. I gotta get out here with one of my nice cameras and just make it a photography day. That's what I started doing at first anyway. Started just taking pictures of different trees, different cactus, cacti, however you want to put it. And it's just like this here. The clouds in the background. They look like this a picture. The bottom of them are flat because we're in a valley. People don't even know that either. And they've been out here for years. They don't really, I guess people aren't interested in the same things. They're interested in some of the same things, but not all the same things. I have always been more aware of my surroundings than the average person. I've always been like a nature boy. I was raised in Queens, New York, but they still was building and stuff out there. I lived on like one of the oldest main block, but it had all the expensive properties and the huge 10-bedroom homes, 13-bedroom homes, 12-bedroom, like that. 3 families, 2 families, little mini mansions and stuff. But my family is from Harlem, New York. Straight up, 136th Street and Lenox Avenue, right in the heart of the crap. For real, for real. So, and my grandmother and grandfather always had this house in Queens, New York. You gotta go out there over a bridge. New York City is nothing but a bunch of little islands, or a bunch of big islands, however you want to look at it. And the only part of New York City that's not an island is the Bronx, New York. That's where I'm from. That's where I came from, to out here, the Bronx, New York, because that's connected to the mainland of New York. And then maybe like a couple of exits down is the county line, when you start calling that like upstate New York. So you would say that you could call it North New York City, or you could call it Southern New York State, because it is part of that mainland New York. Everything else is bridges and tunnels. Like I told you before, that's who I worked for at one point. Electrical department, as a bridge and tunnel maintainer. Yeah, and we always had a house, or they always had a house, my grandmother and my grandfather. Some French people was living in there. They had owned the dry cleaners there in Queens. So over there, like the first block, that runs along the Grand Central Parkway and LaGuardia Airport. That used to be called North Beach, the area where I was raised up in. Then they changed it to East Elmhurst. East Elmhurst. It was upper middle class black neighborhood. A lot of black stars and athletes and doctors and lawyers lived there. I'm not going over the names and stuff. And then on the other side you had a place called Corona. You had Corona, and then you had East Elmhurst. Well, I guess you could say East Elmhurst was the uppity blacks, and Corona was the low-income blacks. You remember the different schools too. But we was like right there together. In general, it just was like a boulevard separating us. And it always was like a class prejudice. You see how society is constructed to make people go against one another? What is the class thing? We all black, and we all come from the same slave trade stock. But it's just that some people had better opportunities than others. Some families just had better opportunities and just had a little bit more, or a lot more, than other blacks. So therefore, you go to that school, I go to this school. Out of school, we still play basketball and football and baseball, whatever, together. You know, sports bring a lot of people together. That's why I was so glad that I was raised by that. For playing football and stickball in the street and racing or running. And from playing, touch football all the way to playing football in grass. Tackle with no equipment. All those things. Brings people together. When I first went to school, when I was in first grade, they sent us to a place called College Point. College Point was a multiracial town. Multiracial European. They didn't want no blacks in their school. They had signs that was picketing them, saying stuff like "niggas go home." That's when they came out with all that busing stuff and integration. You know, it's a lot of bullshit. But some of those people turn out to be lifelong friends. We was in the same class as them, even though they was white European. We was in the same class. That's why they sent us to those schools, their schools. And this people is basically just, it's like the lowest you could be, probably, the way the families looked at it in that neighborhood. Probably like a civil servant. That's like the bottom of the barrel, where I come from. It's like I be telling y'all, I work for the Bridges and Tunnel, Tri-Borough Bridges and Tunnel. Now it's called the MTA Bridges and Tunnel, because the city took it over. And then I had worked for the MTA, Metropolitan Transit Authority. They run the Bridges and Tunnel now. When I was there, it was Triborough Bridges and Tunnel, and they changed it over. In my stint there, it was a short stint, it wasn't long. And same way like with the Metropolitan Transit Authority. Back then it was called the New York City Transit Authority. New York City Transit Authority. NYCTA. And I was a track switching maintainer. So those two jobs I had, you know, you're bottom of the barrel. They paid decent money, but you still was bottom of the barrel compared to the other people in the neighborhood. And that's the truth. You gotta take a test for that. Have some college and take a civil service examination for like 3 hours for those kind of jobs. And you gotta pass a certain place on the list. You gotta score high. The people that score the highest, they call first. And some people they never call. You could pass, but you could be low on the list. Yeah, because I wasn't trying to become no doctor, no lawyer, and all that type of shit. Be like a non-traditional engineer. Most definitely a technician. I'm above that. Like engineer level with my experience and knowledge. Like engineer education, engineer level. Like a journeyman, I would say. You're talking about like an apprenticeship type of, you look at it like that. You're like a journeyman. Meaning, been around for a while. Stick me anywhere where there's electromechanical stuff, even computer stuff, or networks, any of that stuff. I can produce. Doesn't matter, I can produce. Stick me around cars, trucks, trains, tunnels, bridges, all the way to computers, even designing, like drafting. I got a drafting table. I'll fit in all that. And produce. And be a productive employee. But at my age now, they know they can't take my soul. Because they already know that even if you had a half a brain, being in this society for a certain amount of years, you're going to start figuring things out. You're going to start pulling people's cards. You're going to start figuring things out. And once you get there, nobody's going to take any chances with you. And that's all they're looking for in the interview. It's not just about what you know. If they see that you can be a potential problem for their workforce, even if you do get it, and you start telling people the truth and start spreading the real truth, they'll find a way to get rid of your ass. So they'll call you a big mouth, a whistleblower. You've been in their minds and confirming the things that they thought. on the job, you confirming it for them. They don't need you to be a renegade. Because they see production is assing out. It's fucking up. It doesn't matter if you're carrying your own weight or if you're spreading some bullshit. It's going to slow down as soon as they put you in that department or they put you on that team. And then they're going to start asking questions like they always do to the other guys. Like, how is he coming along? How's the new guy coming along? So I get people's opinions of you. It only takes a couple of those motherfuckers to talk against you, even if they lying. They're gonna get rid of you some kind of way. That's how the society goes. So if you don't be a good slave, they're getting rid of you. You can't be rebellious on the down low or undercover and try to trust people. You can't trust nobody on the job. All those assholes want some brownie points and brown nose and motherfuckers. That's how that shit works, man. With any kind of business or school. It's like going to school. You're not a productive student. You're wasting your own time and everybody else's time. You're trying to distract the class, disrupt the class. Get your funky ass, they're gonna get your funky ass up out of there. You gotta go with the flow. Because that's what they train you on there for. To go with the flow. And once you go against the grain, they're getting rid of you. You don't need the so-called rotten apple, rotting the rest of the barrel out. That's how they look at you, like a rotten apple. Eradicate your ass. Like a fungus or some shit. That's what they do. And that shit starts all the way from the home, from the family. Your parents trying to tell you shit, how to act. And you can teach a kid any fucking thing. I was saying that the other day. You can teach a kid any fucking thing. You can teach a kid how to be a soldier. He could be 5 years old. And you could put the fear of death in him, put a gun in his hand, and teach him how to listen, teach him how to shoot, and feed him, clothe him, give him room and board. Don't do what you say do. That's what they're doing in those countries. That's why it's good they got laws in the civilized countries. Because in them third world countries, they get away with a lot of shit. That's why they do what they do in those third world countries to the kids and to the women. Because they're weaker. And I don't care what you think or whoever's listening to what y'all think. If you're a man or a woman. Man takes advantage of anything that's weaker than him. People do that in general. That's why they got those children's and child agencies, protection agencies and stuff. Because these grown-ups be doing a bunch of dumb shit around their kids that they shouldn't be doing. And they be saying things they shouldn't be saying. And that's why these people will be getting their kids taken from them. They're not going to fit into society. They're going to be a menace to society, is what's going to happen. And that's not right. So, it's a good thing. That's why women are lucky that men instinctively wants to nurture them. Good morning. Wants to nurture them. He wants to fuck them and stuff. Wants to nurture them and fuck them. Take care of them. Most men. Some men just is on some bullshit because they've been disillusioned and heartbroken because they don't understand how women roll. So that's another story. And just like I said, men kill anything weaker than them, all the way from animals take advantage of children, and they would kill all the women too if women didn't have pussy and he wasn't programmed to reproduce. And then you got these women talking all that bullshit. That's why when a man kills a woman, I'm not surprised at all. Nothing to be surprised about. Nothing to be surprised about. And like I said, men will kill anything weaker than them. Then you got all these, well, it's not a lot of them. You got a few of these think they strong as men bitches running around here with a chip on their shoulder. Because they possibly may be able to take advantage of some men. But the man's got to be unathletic. Even if a man is unathletic, he can still whip a bitch's ass's weight and size just because he's a man. He's just naturally stronger. Then, oh, you got women that could do things that you can't do. Quite sure. There's women that could do things that I can't do. Quite sure of that. Shit, I can't deep throat. It's about to fuck it. If they got on a motherfucker like me. I'm still strong. I don't care what a hoe know. I ain't too old yet. There's gonna come a time when I won't be able to do certain things. But right now, I can still knock a man out my size or bigger than me. I can still bench press a lot of weight. I still could run and walk 8, 10, 13, 12 miles a fucking day. I'm not trying to say that there's no woman that can't do the same thing and could do more miles than me. Probably run marathons. I ain't never ran no marathon. There's women that could run marathons. It's not on my bucket list. I'm just saying that the few women if that was the case, women would be intermingling or mingling with sports. You'll be seeing co-ed basketball teams and co-ed football teams and all that. Male basketball team would slay female basketball team professionally or in college, whatever level, age level, especially when it comes to age too. Even if you had a college team of men that's not even grown, not even considered adults, could be the best female professional team, basketball team. So you know that the NBA ain't going to do shit. The WBA or the WNBA ain't going to do shit. WBA, they ain't going to do nothing. I seen this guy when we first started walking. That's when I first turned my camera on. He runs walks. He got sloppy form. That's gonna make it bad on his body. Yeah, that's gonna make it bad on his body. Not saying that he's not benefiting from it, but that's gonna make it bad on his body. The way he's just trotting along and swinging his legs around in every direction. Just keep the form and do less. Just keep the form and do less. That's all. Don't push yourself and be out of form. That's when you're doing anything. Come on. Yeah, that's like when you're doing anything. Always keep the form. Doesn't matter if you're writing or paintings, doing some art, work on the canvas or painting the house. Just keep the form. Running, different weights. Keep the form. Even when you walk, make a conscious effort to keep the form. That's how people be getting sore and discouraged. You know, keep the form and make a conscious effort. Even if you have to keep a conscious effort of every step you take. Keep your back straight. Keep your hips under you. Don't stretch your legs out too far. You try to walk on the middle of your feet. The middle of your step, not on your tippy toes. Don't be crashing down on your heels. Try to walk on the middle. Keep everything lined up in the middle. And keep your chin up. And keep your stomach pulled in. Not straining, but just keep the form. And you won't get sore. A lot of people think that be in their hips when they running, or jogging, or walking, or whatever they're doing, sprinting. They think it's in their hips. It don't be the hips. It be those straps with muscle that's around the hips. Or the psoas muscle. A couple of different ones, but it stills like the psoas. Still like the psoas. Hate to run for people. I like to run for myself. Not when somebody wants to make a turn or something. But it's like I'm giving them power over me. That's why most of the time I just flag them on. I say, go ahead. Keep my own pace. Like I just was talking about form. And keep your form. Don't throw your form off. Yeah, and like I was saying before, that man takes advantage of anything that's weaker than him. That's from the beginning. He takes advantage of anything that's weaker than him. All the way until today. Taking people's lands and everything, because they weaker than them, but they got stronger weapons. So that's why, and more, in some cases, more men, more soldiers. So they just take your shit. Same thing. Like how the bully takes your lunch money in school. Just like that. Same thing. Same when they had the blacks enslaved, chained up. And they had guns and chains. So you chain up a bunch of people, what are they really gonna do? You chain up a bunch of people. You daisy chain their ass together. You daisy chain them together. What are they gonna do? They can't run nowhere, because everyone has a mind of their own. So you ain't gonna get nowhere far like that. It's like prison. Yeah, they took advantage. It doesn't matter how they got the niggas on the boat or the ship in Africa back in the day. It's a matter of what you did after you got them. That's the fucking problem. It's what you did after you got them. That's the fucking problem. And you think that shit ain't in black people DNA and their genetic memory? Come on. Then you got people talking about, well, I didn't do it. Yeah, motherfucker. Your forefathers did it. And you still living off of our money. Still living off of our work. Because all they basically did was snatch motherfuckers up like that so they could work for free. And make them do inhuman labor for free. Get the most out of them till they drop the fuck dead. And then breed them to make them stronger. Breed the women and breed the men. Make them strong as hell till they can get more work out of them. Free work out of them. That's why they're terrified of the black man. Because they own mad scientific breeding shit. It's working against them now. And niggas are so fucking dumb. I keep on saying dumb, they stupid. That's where sports come in at. They sit back. Let me say something here. There was a guy when I was growing up. He's an odds maker in Vegas on sports. His name was Jimmy the Greek, they called him. The Greek dude. And he was pretty good at predicting stuff. You know, it's a gambler. And he says he got drunk one day at this scheduled gala of some sort. And he totally assed out. And he got fired for it. He started talking about some dude stuck a mic in his face because he was overhearing the conversation. And some dude stuck a mic in his face. And he was talking about why black athletes are so dominant. And boy, did he go on and on and on. He said, he was drunk. He was sitting, he was at a table. He was dressed, you know, like a dinner, some kind of dinner thing, party or something. He was dressed. And I'm like, what is this guy talking about? And he was like, yeah, I was saying that the reason why black athletes are so dominant, it goes all the way back to the slave trade. And they used to breed those bucks or some shit with the black women. They used to get the biggest and strongest ones. Like basically they could watch them work. They know which families or tribes or groups work the hardest, and you know, for their temperament, you know, all this stuff. Because everybody's temperament is different, and some people thrive on the shit that was going on with the slavery shit. Some people thrive on it. Actually, some people actually thrive on some people thrive on being the underdog, or being the hunted, or being the opposition. Some people thrive on that. It's just in their energy. Some of those guys is just straight up warriors, all the way to their life sources out of them. So they was breeding people. That's what they did. And he was talking about, well, I just threw that in there. He was saying that, yeah, they bred them to get more work out of them, basically, you know, and to be more hardy, you know. And the reason why black men can run faster and jump higher than any of the other races is because they got these big thighs. You saw the black woman got a big butt and big thighs, and you see the guys, how muscular their legs are. That's why they could jump and run so fast, because it was bred like that from the slave trade. Then he said some other shit about, yeah, they good athletes, but something about like they're not good thinkers. That's why, you know, all the quarterbacks in the NFL are white, but they didn't have no black quarterbacks back then. I don't think. That's why all the quarterbacks in the NFL are white, and the coaches in sports and the managers in sports, that's why they're white, because they're smarter, they're more intelligent than the black man. Man, that Greek motherfucker got fired the next fucking day, and you never heard nothing else from this man. He said should be set the white man back 100 fucking years. I said, damn. I'm like, he had it right up to that point. Because people are under impression, even some today still. That goes all the way back to what I said before about memory. Memory is not intelligence. It's just that a lot of other races. Well, listen, that's the same place yesterday where I heard something moving. Something's in those bushes over there, and I don't know what it is. I know I ain't trying to find out. The white guy be over there, hey, that's the same thing I heard yesterday. Let's go take a look and see what it is. And I be over here like with the camera like that dude. Like that Crocodile Dundee ass nigga. Whoever that guy was, whatever his name was, got stung by that manta stingray and killed his ass. I'd be over there looking, next thing you know, a big ass rattlesnake or some shit, cause they got rattlesnakes out here. Jump up and lock on to my fucking fist and my camera, and I'll get the whole shit on the cam. I'm not gonna be that stupid motherfucker. White boy will do it. White person. Black people ain't into that type of shit. But back to like I said, yeah, a lot of people got a head start on the black people in this country because they was subjugated. Wasn't allowed to read shit. Wasn't allowed to read anything. Get caught reading, get your eyes poked out. Then when they did start letting motherfuckers read, they started letting them read that fairy tale book. They know ain't nobody gonna understand the philosophy of that book. The Holy Bible. Even people today don't even know what they're reading. It's a philosophical book, is what it is. With parables and adages and stories and fables. That's all it is. And that's how you got to look at it. You know, people try to look at it literally, and it'll never make sense to you. So you go through all your life looking at a book that doesn't make sense and believing the shit that's in it. Go ahead. And believing the shit that's in it. Okay, I see you. I'm going behind this one. The people still don't even know what's going on with that book. And they believe it. What kind of shit is that? That's like somebody hands you a contract, like when you're buying a house. Who's gonna sit up there and read all that shit?